This is a bit pointless, but I thought I'd record it anyway. Um, Part one of this is I found a really rubbishy little webcam module. It's normally at the top of a laptop screen. It's old and rubbish. Low resolution, low quality, blah blah blah. But as you may already know, if you adjust the lens here, if you rotate it, you have to break the plastic of it, the adhesive rather. Oh, that looks better. There you go. And you see I butchered it a bit, but I can rotate the focus ring, just the focus, which is pretty cool. So I wired that into a USB hub, just soldered it in, just so it's something I could conveniently use. The goal was to have something that I can get a little bit closer to the chip, and to inspect it. However, it's not quite as good as I'd have hoped, but it's alright. It's alright. Considering the other camera was a bit further away, which I've just poked, can already see it better than this can. So I'm not sure what utility there is here. However, if I go in here quickly, set the distance. So I'm in a menu on OBS Studio. Configure video, camera control. If I adjust the Irish, I can tweak that a bit and get an okay-ish. It's annoying too because when you get really close, you think, ugh, it's kind of crusty. Anyway, because I think there'll be times when I don't really want to move the cameras too much, the main ones, but I would like to have something, Also, this is really quiet, isn't it? Let's try that. It's a bit better, I bet. Okay, yeah, but being able to get just that little bit closer would be nice. Mind you, I did mess the ring up a bit, didn't I? I think it's this way. Problem with that is it's a bit loose now. Like that, it just falls out, unfortunately. Oh, I suppose you can look inside if you want. Anyway, what a boring video. But yeah. Obviously, if you put a bit more effort in, you could get this to go even closer. Yeah, kind of disappointed now. Like, it's alright. It's a bit meh. But still, convenient if I got something on the board and I just want to quickly say like, oh, you know, again, the camera just so much better. What's the point? Although looking at things from this angle was pretty nifty. Hmm. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. What I was gonna say was to point to, I guess. The thing is, you can already see it on that camera that I just bumped into again. Okay. Well, there's that. Obviously, you can see some of the pads, like I said before, like they got damaged in my messing around. It's kind of unfortunate. Like, you know, it's a little bit disappointing, but it's also to be expected because I messed around with it so many times. And then, yeah, you can see a pad or two damaged. However, I guess what's worth, I don't know, I just feel like this is worth documenting rather than, I don't know, because when I'm streaming normally, it's just for me to keep me focused on task, doing the soldering and practicing and stuff, and getting back on track. But this video was more about actually completing it. Not completing it, but I felt the need to follow up. So, one of those solder stencils, I'm not sure if I said already, I cut it up. I ruined a good pair of scissors just because I couldn't be bothered to dig out some tin snips or whatever. But point is, off camera, I was messing around and bang the camera again. Oh, I've lost a bit. So, this camera's that's too bright. Let's try that. Okay. Anyway. So, let's put this back together quickly. Okay. Let's pretend for a minute that I tightened it up with a clamp. Sorry, with Allen keys and stuff and blah blah blah. So now I cut this piece out. These cameras, mate. I cut this piece out, this stencil, so it would fit in here. And then what you can do is you can clamp it in here. It also helps get these clamps the right way around. So what you can do is with this clamp is you take your microchip that you want to reball, put it in here. To save time, I'm not going to try and like line it up perfectly, but there's the stencil, there's the chip on the back of it, like this. You can imagine, like this. So you spend a bit of time making sure that the holes of the stencil obviously mate with the bare pads, unsoldered pads on the chip. Tighten it up, make sure it's all clamped. Wow, these reflections are horrendous, mate. Like that. Like this. Yeah, it's probably better. So what you would want to do, obviously, is line it up so all the holes mesh with the pads, as you would expect. You know, it takes a bit of time. But the interesting thing, I guess, is, as I've said probably about 5 million times, is that this stencil has 3 rows of dots. See the 3 holes, 3 rows of holes that are laser cut out. Yeah, but the chip only needs 2. And so in the previous day, I filled the holes so that the stencil would, you know, potentially work with this here with 2 dots, 2 rows, and I filled the middle row on here all the way around with Loca, and then cured it with ultraviolet light, and I thought it didn't work, to be honest. I didn't think I'd managed to get it working, so I was a bit miffed. However, once I'd cleaned it and everything else, you can probably tell it's a bit damaged now, but you can kind of see, if I put light behind it, can you sort of see, like, the 3rd row, the center one, it has like a darker shade than the other 2 rows, apart from the bits where it's got picked up crap off my desk and old crusty solder balls and paste and stuff gotten in there. But when I last had it all clean, yeah, I had a perfectly masked off inner row. I was quite pleased with that. I didn't think the logo had worked, so I had scrubbed the top surface, you know, scrubbed that clean, went over, scrubbed that clean, everything else. So everything was perfectly flush. Like, there's nothing protruding, no logo on top or anything like that. And sure enough, the holes were blocked. Then I was like, oh, but the heat, I keep giving it very high heat. How is that going to handle? And to be honest, for the most part, I had multiple cycles of going up using hot air at like 400 degrees sometimes, and what have you, Celsius that is, you know, and then hitting it with isopropyl alcohol, and also some weird looking, some fake acetone stuff that acetone free nail polish remover, and it's got methylated spirits in. Anyway, but the point being, you know, I've hit it with some chemicals and a lot of heat, and you know, hit it with solder multiple times with the soldering iron manually trying to clean the template off. I mean, I've really butchered it, to be honest, you know, but they held up, you know, and realistically, it wouldn't take long to fix this back up to make it work and be reusable again. So I'm quite surprised, to be honest, that it actually panned out and worked. As you can see here, like, this worked out pretty decently. Yeah, I mean, I want to get really picky, I suppose we could say, like, you know, in a couple of locations, you know, a solder ball's bigger than another, but it's so close, and I think that's good enough, and I think that'd be great. But like I said, obviously I've damaged this one, so it would just be an academic sort of exercise of, you know, can I solder on top of the other chip and make it at least look like, make it seem like it might work, you know, mechanically bonded or whatever. That's partly why I wanted this camera, because what I'd hoped was, what I'd hoped for was that once I'd got it on top of the other chip, you can see some of the balls aren't quite the same, but I think it's close enough. We'll find out. Yeah, I was hoping to inspect the chip and how it's mounted, but I can't quite get in close enough for that. but I've got some lenses coming in the post, so that's what I can do. They're like macro lenses for smartphones, but I think I can probably just put it over this one and that'll be enough. Failing that, I've got loads of junk in this room, all my tools and that, but I've also got loads of old spare parts and things, so optical drives, things like that. So I might be able to use the lens off of the laser drive off a CD player or something. And that might get me really close. Who knows? But again, I'm waffling. I like waffling. Apparently, I like waffling. Yeah, it's interesting. So I've got some stuff coming in the post anyway. I've got some isopropyl alcohol. I've got some Kapton tape. I've got some acetone coming, but I won't touch my circuits with acetone really, probably. What else did I get? I got some lint-free nail varnish pad things when people do nail varnish stuff, gels and things, and obviously they don't want dust and crap in them. So you can get some really cheap little pads. I'm going to try them. I've not used them before, so I'm hoping that'll give me enough to give me, like, you know, a small square of fabric that I can douse in alcohol, clean up everything, dispose of, and you know, and not leave a whole load of crap on my stuff. Now, as you're probably realizing, I don't know if you noticed, but it's clear to me, obviously, a lot of the fibers on this at the moment, at least, is just off the desk, off the wood, off this MDF, where I've you know, scratched the desk, got it wet, fibers have, you know, come away. So I do have mats here that I could use, but I've, especially because I've got a silicone mat as well for well, for this very purpose really, but I can't find it. I don't know where I put it. I clearly put it in storage somewhere, and yeah, some years have passed, unfortunately. But I did fish out a cutting mat, which is quite nice. Obviously, I can't really do much hot air over that because I will damage it, but that's okay. I don't mind. But unfortunately, the next problem I have is so the processor that was on here originally, I took off obviously because I was I was a bit annoyed that I couldn't do anything with the RAM module, because once I'd damaged it and was having trouble reflowing and everything else and what have you, I just said, you know what, let's just get the CPU off. You know, more practice, get the CPU off, clean the board up beneath it. You know, it's not perfect. I didn't do it under magnification. I did it with my bare eyes, which obviously means I've missed some, to be honest. As you can see, it's not flush in places. I should have probably done that under magnification, I'd imagine. But it's really awkward on my microscope because it's zoomed in so far as well. It's hard to really. Yeah, I don't know. I just find it awkward. Not a fan of that side of things. Never really been that happy with this microscope. But anyway, I took the CPU off, cleaned it all up, and then promptly lost it. So I can't even, you know, do a dry run and just solder everything back together, because this chip is clearly, which is funny, it looks like it's fine now, but no. Well, see, this chip, is not meant to go on there, basically. Something I didn't buy, but I really wanted to. I couldn't really get quite what I wanted. Was, I know one of the stencils that I overlaid on this, it gave me a sort of pitch of 0.5 millimeters, and the balls would be 0.25. Which is great to know, but I don't have solder balls small enough for that. That's kind of a bummer, because that would have simplified everything, I reckon. Would have made things a lot easier. You know, that's kind of unfortunate, but I'll get some at some point. I'll do a bit more hunting to get what I really want. I just made the mistake of switching to my browser because this system is rubbish. It claims to be streaming still, so that's fine. Yeah, I'm not happy with this. I feel like, yeah, I just need to start a little bit more focus so that I can get in really close. If I can get in really close, like, oh, I can't see, can you? But I'll be happy once I can get into sort of like that close, something really outrageous, with nice focus. I think that'd then become useful. I suspect, you know, I do have a Bluetooth camera that's meant for stuff in your ear hole. Is it Bluetooth or Wi-Fi? Actually, I think it might be Wi-Fi, which is kind of annoying. Yeah. Oh yeah, mind you though, actually, I say that that's not so good. I do also have this camera view shrunk. Perhaps if it's bigger. I've got the sharpness dialed up on it, unfortunately, so it's kind of distorting the image a little bit. But what do we think if it's like that? Is it useful? Oh look, stray bit of solder there. That's annoying. Find my decent tweezers as well. That'd be nice. So where am I looking? Oh, that's funny. I can't coordinate the both. Is that solder? Or is it a bit crap? I think it's probably solder. Actually, see, I say that right, but I went over it with hot air afterwards. That should have been, you know, cleaned away. All right, let's get that out of the way for a minute.